Your laptop is feeling old. Every time it takes 10 seconds to open a web browser, you find yourself wondering if it's time to finally let it go. But assuming the machine is dead and rushing out to spend $600 to $1,000 on a replacement is a steep price for a guess. Before you swipe your card, let's walk through a strict, logical process to see if you can keep this one going. This flowchart maps out the fix versus replace decision. By answering just a few basic questions about your machine's symptoms, we can categorize the issue into a repair or a necessary replacement. By the end of this evaluation, you will have a clear, math-based result that lets you decide with confidence. We start with the single most common complaint, a computer that has become incredibly sluggish over time. The truth is, slow is actually the cheapest and easiest problem to resolve. When a machine feels like it is dragging, it is usually because invisible software clutter and background processes have built up over years of normal usage. These hidden applications quietly drain your machine's processing power without you even realizing they are active. Your first line of defense is performing a basic software cleanup to clear that clutter and restore everyday speed. If a cleanup doesn't work, you are likely looking at a hardware limit, specifically an aging hard drive that has naturally slowed down. In that case, executing a targeted hardware upgrade, like adding a bit of memory or swapping to a newer solid-state drive, is all it takes. These upgrades usually run between $50 and $100, which is a fraction of the retail price of a brand new laptop. Before making any purchase, seek out a dedicated tutorial on speeding up an older machine, and try those steps first. Sluggishness is usually just a maintenance problem. Solving it is a far better financial move than buying a whole new computer. The second major annoyance is a battery that drains rapidly. Fixing this depends on the laptop's physical engineering. In a traditional scenario, a cheap battery swap instantly restores hours of unplugged life to the machine. Contrast that with modern, ultra-thin laptops. Manufacturers often glue batteries deep into the chassis, making the labor cost to safely remove them very high. If a glued-in battery drives the repair quote up to an unviable price, the manufacturer's physical design has effectively made the choice for you. Those are the fixable annoyances, but there are strict criteria that define when a laptop is genuinely at the end of its life. Returning to our flowchart, deal breaker 1 is the update cutoff. Without modern security patches, the machine is exposed to hacks and malware. This lack of safety makes the machine obsolete, regardless of how well the physical hardware still runs. Deal breaker 2 is the 50% rule. This chart breaks down the math. If someone quotes you $300 to fix a laptop, and buying a better one brand new is $500, the math says buy new. Spending more than half the cost of a new device on aging hardware means you lose your financial leverage. Once you pass that 50% threshold, you are throwing good money after bad. Deal breaker 3 is compounding physical breakdown. We are talking about major failures, starting with severely cracked screens. Add dead keyboard keys and shattered hinges to the list of physical failures. Attempting to replace these individual parts one by one quickly outpaces the entire value of the machine. This also creates daily frustration when you try to work on a machine that is falling apart. Holding on to a physically broken machine prevents you from having a reliable device for your work. And on these older models, replacing one broken part usually just leads to another part failing shortly after. When a laptop fails the security test, the math of the 50% rule, or basic physical integrity, keeping it becomes more expensive and less safe than replacing it. The rule is clear. Fix the minor annoyances, like understanding your basic computing needs and your laptop's specific faults keeps you from wasting hundreds of dollars on features you won't actually use.